type your questions in. Lance will take questions over here on YouTube. And I will take the ones here on Zoom.
Don't forget to mute when you get over there.
It's getting there. All right. The questions in. Lance will take questions over here on YouTube. There we go.
Now we're rocking.
Now we're good. You good over there?
I will be.
Questions in. Lance will take questions over here on YouTube.
Now we're good.
We're good to go.
Yep. We're live and going.
We're a hot mess trying to keep it going forward today. So don't mind us. But again, it's about keeping it in perspective. And hey, Sandy, good to see you guys. Hey, Wayne, Desiree, Becca, glad you made it, hon. Sharon. Oh, John, you made it. Good to see you, hon. We're not going to do a bunch of science tonight. I really want to keep things in perspective. We are going to talk a little bit about the mental game in this. And those of you that have been with us for long term, you know, this isn't just about healing or a diet or counting carbs or anything like that. It's changing that neural pathway in the brain so we can heal our brain and function and make this a lifestyle, not just a diet. And I think that's where the magic happens, is when we can get through the stressors in life. Thanksgiving coming up. For some of us, it's a blessing and a good day and family and great memories and just blessings around the table. And for others, there's been big losses. You know, we've all dealt with so much stuff this year, and having that in perspective and sitting at the table with the people that we love. Again, we can have all the family complaints of stressors that we want, but the true blessing is being around that table. So it's Joan, we're so glad you're making it in.
Yeah, Joan's here.
Joan's another one of our cancer survivors she's in the middle of the fight right now, and she's fighting the fight. And Joan, our thoughts and prayers are with you, hon. We miss you. So
well, thank you. And your little reminder was a positive tonight, because I'm in the middle actually of packing. We're heading up to Atlanta tomorrow, and I thought, you know what? There's no reason I can't pack and listen and talk.
I am so glad to hear your voice. I really am.
Glad. We miss you. We love you.
I was wondering about you, and I was just like, oh.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll tell our little story for Joan for a minute. Anybody that hasn't met Joan yet, she was one of the people when we went down to film with drboz and do some training and everything down there. We went to show up with drboz, and we're supposed to be in a room that had no Wi-Fi. And Joan never met us, never anything. We're from a little town, so we're kind of used to some oddball stuff. But Joan's like, hey, my living room has Wi-Fi. Come on in. And we're like, you know, we're driving around. She gives us, we're like, what do we got? Okay. So we show up on Joan's doorstep, me, Lance, drboz, all of our equipment, all of our filming gear. We show up on her doorstep, and she opens her doors up and says, hey, come on in. So we come in, and it has truly built a friendship, a lifelong friendship of family and love that, you know, some of us that have had losses in this year, that it's not always about blood, that I have just as many people on here that are family and love. And again, Joan, we just love you, and we're praying for you, and she's fighting the fight. So Joan needs all the prayer she can get right now.
Appreciate it. One more round this year to go. So
you got it.
Oh.
We're with you. So that being in perspective, Joan, what she's doing and going through right now, that's exactly what this is going to be about today. And it's going to be, I don't want to be snarky and I don't want to be snippy about it. It is truly my heart. Thanksgiving is coming up, and this is not about the food on your plate. I don't care how many carbs you're counting. I don't care what level of ketosis you're in, what level of healing you're in. And I'm going to talk about this without crying, I promise. Crying.
You can do it.
With everything happened this year, even with my own heart attack, and if I wouldn't have made it off the plane, and if I wouldn't have had the doctor that I had, and if I wouldn't have been in ketosis like I was, I wouldn't be sitting around the table this year with my family. And that's what this is about. It is not about the food on your plate. Look up from your plate. If I can say anything snarky, look up. It is not about what's on your plate. Look up from the food. Do not worry about the mashed potatoes and the pumpkin pie and the millions of things that are going to be there. Look up.
Look around.
And look across the table at the people at your table, which is what matters. And that is why holidays are so sweet right now. And even if we have people missing, and it is so hurtful and such a hard thing, the blessing of those memories and the blessing of the people that are still there. That is what this year needs to be about. We have so much to be grateful for. And being on this journey with all of you has been such a blessing to us. We have truly prayed for the doors to open that are meant to open so we can reach the people we're meant to reach, to help the people we're meant to help. And this has all been an answer to prayer for us. So I guess we just ask, keep it in perspective. Don't stress about it. Don't worry about the family drama. Be grateful and just be there.
And don't worry about the food.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a ton, you know all about it. There's going to be plenty of things that you can go sideways on. Just be in tune with the people and eat some turkey, but
you can even have two perspectives. You can go into the holiday and you can look at it as food don't matter. You're giving yourself a grace day. If your chemistry is strong enough, those of you that have been through all 12 steps with me, your chemistry is strong. You know how to get right back on track. If you have a bad day, you fall off the wagon. Don't think of it as a fail for Thanksgiving. Make your choice now. If you're going to jump in and you're going to eat and enjoy it, eat and enjoy it. Do not stress about it. I don't care what's on your plate. You know how to wake up Friday morning and start over. You know how to get your body right back into ketosis. You know how to troubleshoot. You know how to fix all those problems that you're going to run into. Do not stress about it. Make your choice and go with it and don't feel guilty. If you choose to stay in keto, if you choose to keep your numbers in perspective and you're watching that and you're going to work through it, there is tons of food you can have that is not going to derail you. Again, don't worry about the plate. Eat the fat, have the meat, take it easy. Have a bite of something. If it's your favorite pumpkin pie that you haven't had all year long, have a bite of pumpkin pie. Doesn't mean you have to eat the whole pie. Just like some people we
don't point at me.
Like some people we know can't stop. But if you're one of those people that can do it in moderation, make your choice. It just comes down to, again, make a plan, stick with it. But either way, come Friday morning, grace is as close as your next meal. And this is where we preach too. We've always preached back to the basics. Yeah. This is where that comes back in. When you make that plan and when you do what you're going to do with family, that's when the basics come back into play. The next day, jump right back to the basics and your body will kick right back in. And you'll learn, that is the beauty of the keto continuum. You learn those steps of where your chemistry is in those 12 steps, and you know how to do that. So that's where it's so cool to be able to, you don't do it all the time. It's not, you get Thanksgiving, Christmas, and your birthday, so 3 times a year, you kind of jump the rails. And I don't even look at it as jumping the rails. It's 3 times a year, that you kind of let it go and ease up a little bit. You know how to get back at it. So a couple things I want to throw out there before I forget. Squirrel. KetoCon. Some of the things people got to start planning for and prepping for now, because that discount code for KetoCon in Austin, Texas, April 21st, 22nd, 23rd, that discount price is going to start going up December 1st. That's why I want to throw that out there. Make sure if you want it, if you have any inkling, that'll be the one I'll be speaking at. We're still waiting to hear if drboz is going to be able to speak at that one or not. She's waiting to hear on her boys, but to be with the kids, but we're going to try. We're hoping she's going to be there. So we'll be speaking at that one. We will be there. My family will be there. We're hoping to have all the supporters, anybody from our group be there so we can get together and get some photos and stuff like that of everybody and how many countries and states that we have people coming from. It's going to be so cool. But that will the price of that will start going up December 1st. So that's where anybody that wants that, I have a code for you. I'll send it out to you. So just again, prayers and blessings that I can do, you guys, but getting up on the stage in front of thousands of people, I don't know that I can do. So you can do it. I need some prayers of strength and encouragement on that one. But so that one's a good one for KetoCon coming up. When is that? 22nd, 23rd? 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Okay. Austin, Texas, at the Palmer Center. It's a big convention center in Austin. So that would be the one I had the heart attack on the way home last year. Yes, so, don't remind me. Lance let me go alone. I'm going with her this time. We're not doing that one. But again, it's just go back to everything that's coming up, the blessings that are happening, everything in your life. Take the blessings in it, take the positive, and it's fixing that neuro pathway, being with like-minded people. That's another thing that these conventions are so good for, is being with people. When you sit down at the table, you don't have to argue what you're eating. You don't have to debate what's on your plate. You don't have to justify anything. We all get it. So it's kind of neat to be, when you're working on that brain health and doing that neuro pathway in the brain, it is so cool to see how much that applies to everything. Talking with like-minded people is what's going to help you heal your brain. again, I always say we all have 10 times more better things to be doing right now than sitting on a Sunday night and being live with everybody that we don't know and all of our friends around the world. But it is so cool to know this is what heals us. This is what helps this become a lifestyle and a long-term journey, not just, a quick diet or anything like that. We are going to be throwing out some Black Friday specials. I'm probably going to idle a little bit through the holidays. So any of my coaching people, if you're already in, you're good. I may take a couple people to get through the holidays, but I'm really going to kind of lay low, work on the New Year, New You program coming up in January. So we can all get through the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, and then we can all hit the floor running come the first of the year and get right back on track, clean up any glucose, anything like that we've struggled with, get right back in our fasting routine. We're going to keep going. This isn't a jump off the rails and forget what we're doing. It is literally, this is how we survive it through the holidays. We get with like-minded people, we stay focused and keep going. And that's how we're going to do it. So, hey, Virginia, good to see you guys. Good to see everybody jumping on. Couple things, Christmas coming up. Another thing for families. This is one of those things that I will tell husbands, spouses, Lance will probably vouch for this too. This is something most people want to do. Most of the time, the thing that stops them is they will invest in everything in life, but they will not invest in their health and a plan. So anybody looking for Christmas gifts for spouses or anything like that, we're going to start the New Year, New You program. I'm trying to go for January 2nd, if everybody seems pretty ready for that. And if you have a spouse that you would like to know about this information, that you would like us to reach out to and say, hey, this is what she wants, this is what he wants, but won't pay for it yourself and won't put you in yourself and won't do it for yourself. This is one of the biggest gifts of love I could say you could give to a loved one, is to think of spouses that you could do it with, family members you could do it with, and we will all hit the floor running. And again, it comes down to that being healthy. And this isn't about, this isn't about the weight. This is literally about healing at the cellular level. So any questions this week going into the holiday that anybody can think of? Is there anything directly anybody would like answered? Everybody doing good? Anybody want to come and check in? I know we've got some success people on here. You want to come and check in a little bit? Tell us how you're doing. Virginia, you always got a good success story. You might as well come and jump in and tell everybody how you're doing.
Well, I've had, I'm not sure. I don't remember who I told and if I didn't. My ex-husband, although it wasn't really my ex-husband, he was, but we were married 19 years and then we were apart for 15 and got back together, and we've been dating for the last 15. Anyhow, he's my travel partner and we don't live together, but anyhow, on the 23rd of October, he passed away from a very sudden, massive heart attack.
Oh, Virginia, I'm so sorry.
We had just come home on Saturday from a 3-week cruise from Canada to Fort Lauderdale. He drove home, he unpacked, he went grocery shopping, he did his laundry. The next morning, I guess he had, a neighbor said she saw the ambulance and went over, and they said that they were taking him to the hospital for a heart attack. But when she went in the house, she's the one that collected all his mail and watched over for things. So she had a key. So she went and she called our family, and so we were able to be at the hospital with him. But he had fallen and scraped his elbow, so there was blood on the bed and blood on the couch and stuff. So he had called 911 himself and unlocked the front door.
Oh, wow.
But within 3 hours, he arrested 12 times. They put in 3 stents. They put in a balloon pump. He had 4 different pressors, which, I don't know anybody in the medical, when you're on 4 different pressors that are maxed out, you just don't come back from that. Even if you do come back from that, you don't come back from it well. So today was his memorial service.
Oh my
And
goodness.
he wrote his wishes down in 2012 of what would happen. He wanted the Lord's Prayer read by everybody that would participate. He wanted the 23rd Psalm read. He wanted the song Amazing Grace. And he had an ancestor named John Newton who actually wrote that song. And I couldn't make it through the song. The prayers and then then anybody that wanted to comment, he said, anybody wants to comment, that's fine if you don't. Oh, he wanted to be cremated, by the way. But this is the kicker. At the end of the service, he wanted everybody to participate in singing Down by the Old Mill Stream. Because that was a song he and his fraternity brother sang in college.
Oh my.
So he had such a sense of humor, and we all left with a laugh instead of tears.
Yep.
God love you, Virginia. We're so sorry.
So, and then
My
when
goodness.
we went back to his house, there were probably 50 people in his little 1,200 square foot house, not little, but small. And it was rainy and windy out in Florida. So we had a wonderful time. It was so many happy stories. There was people from Birmingham that came down. I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida, by the way. People from Indianapolis, from Baltimore,
wow.
from Miami, a lot of people down from South Sarasota, 2 hours away. And it was just, and a lot of people from Tampa. It was just a wonderful, I'm so happy.
Good.
My heart is lifted.
Well, again, it's keeping things in perspective for the holidays, and our thoughts and prayers will be with you. So
Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate that. Now, tomorrow might be a down day, but today I was expecting a very down, depressed day, but it ended up just lifting my heart. My family we're very close, and we're leaning on each other, and it just lifted my heart. So I love all you guys. I love every group that I go to, and it's just wonderful to have friends and people that love you, and you love them.
Yep.
It's wonderful. So thank you all. My check-in is I probably will not be in ketosis tomorrow, but I have been the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
Virginia.
Understandable.
So, but that's okay. I will be by Tuesday because I can get back in quickly. And Joan, I hope to see you on Tuesday morning. I hope you're feeling good.
Tuesday morning, if anybody doesn't know, is Dr. Boz's actual morning check-in that she does a live check-in. Her group is live, so she gets to do a check-in with them, and they're fortunate enough to live close enough that they can go.
Oh,
So-
we are so blessed to get to see
We
her.
are. I drive basically an hour and a half to get there. Virginia, I'm on my way to Atlanta tomorrow. We're going to be up there for the week.
Oh,
And then when I get back, I have chemo that week. But let me
I
tell
know,
you
and
a
that's
story
your
about
last
Virginia.
one.
It's my last one. She knows it. Let me tell you a story about Virginia. Believe it was 24 hours after he passed away, she was in group with us.
Wow.
Because I had to have some distraction. And
Well, we all had to give you a
drinking.
hug. So,
Yep.
but yeah, it's
There's a great point. I'm sorry, and we do this
The
as a
group.
lifestyle, and the people, but it is about the people, and
Yeah.
it's about the support group is more than just about food. It's more than just
Oh,
about
right.
lifestyle. It goes so much further than that. It's just a blessing to have everybody this close, and it's cool that we're all like-minded in that fact.
I will tell you that people ask me why I can't do anything on Tuesday morning in general. And I really don't tell them about group because they don't quite get it. And, I have
Eating sardines and everything.
not really more a matter of they don't get it. Why would you drive an hour and a half each way and take a whole morning away just to sit for an hour and listen to a very educated, very smart lady for many things that we've heard multiple times, but it's the people around the table.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
I don't remember. I don't know how it happened or who started. I think it was Ellen.
Eileen.
Eileen. Thank you. She's Virginia knows what I'm going to say. I get there. I go only every 3 weeks or so now because by the time the week of keto, I really can't deal with it the morning the day before, and the week after chemo, I'm just too tired to drive and all the pieces. And so I don't get there as much as I want right now. But I got there one day and there's this huge, it's probably a queen size blanket, if not a king size, that says fueled by ketones. And I guess everybody, Virginia, you want to tell the story about how, because I wasn't there, but it was just so
Eileen
cool.
saw it and she said, I would like for us as a group to order this for Joan. And so we all contributed, and it's beautiful. It's a real snuggly, soft. You could wrap up and feel cozy, and you could feel every one of us in that blanket, I'm sure.
I could totally get lost in it, like literally physically get lost.
But you feel every bit of our love from the whole group.
Absolutely. And just the whole idea around that a group of people who I only see sitting in the birthday party room of a bowling alley in a mediocre location in Tampa.
Oh man, a so-so location.
Okay. Wouldn't want to go there, 10 o'clock at night. Thank you. Just the warmth and the wonderful feelings. And from a keto perspective, I'm in such a crazy scenario between the 4-day fasts before chemo, and actually I got down too low. In my opinion, I actually felt physically weak. My weight had gotten down so low, probably about 10 pounds lower than I am now. And so I actually, be honest, I gave myself about 2 weeks of going, I don't care what I eat. And I didn't really enjoy it that much. I mean, I ate things that I shouldn't have eaten or wouldn't have eaten for keto, but to be honest, they put weight on me very quickly. Oh my gosh.
It does very quickly.
It does, but the cool part of that win, Joan, is, and you can probably vouch for this, if anybody has ever done that and you've been keto for a while and you think, oh my gosh, I can't wait till Thanksgiving to have my favorite whatever. And you will notice when that neuro pathway in the brain starts to change, you're going to take a bite of it the first time and it'll be kind of like, okay. But it's not quite the buzz it used to be.
No, and the
taste neuro pathway in the brain, and it tastes different, or things that you thought you used to love will no longer have that vice over you. And I think so much of that comes down to is it is breaking that neuro pathway. And we were talking in church about the pruning, and when you're breaking and taking those things away from the body and you're putting back in, just the same Miss Vicky we were talking about this, of bringing the things in that you need and pruning out the things that you don't need. That is where that change happens in the brain. And it literally will help you make the right choices, because later on, the next time you go to make that choice, you're going to remember it wasn't quite worth it. It wasn't quite fun. It wasn't quite that dopamine response.
It's a total addiction. And as you get away from the addiction, it's not the same when you go back to it. I mean, I was out with a group of people. Some of you know I drive a Mini Cooper convertible, and it's really part of my social life.
It drives like a crazy woman.
It's just part of Joan.
And we love it.
It's just part of Joan.
The 1 year anniversary of my new car was Saturday. 1 year. I don't drive to work. I have 22,800 miles on the car.
Nice.
You've had fun in that car, haven't you?
Oh yeah. Oh, and by the way, I do have to make an announcement, for good or bad. As of last Friday at 5 o'clock, I am hereby, can I say unemployed or retired? I don't know what word to use. I turned down the contract extension.
Good for you.
Good.
So, I hope my finance guy's right that I can make it, and how long I make it. But
Joan, we're praying for you the whole way around. You know that. You got this.
Make sure you get good insurance.
Well, no, I had to stay this long to get COBRA for the next 18 months, and then I go into Medicare in 18 months.
Oh, COBRA is expensive.
$1,000 a month. It's cheaper than the exchange.
Wow.
Really?
Now you have more time to put miles on your Mini Cooper.
There you go.
And one other good thing, I don't know how many times I've been on here since, but my 25-year-old son now lives 10 minutes from me.
Oh, that's going to be a quick trip.
Oh yeah. Well, he's driving to Atlanta tomorrow, so I'll get off and some personal stuff. But as far as the addiction piece, the sugar addiction, which is my issue, it's still there. It's just easier to deal with the longer you get away from it.
Yep.
It is.
Absolutely.
It's still there.
It is. That's why we're in this for the long haul. That's why we don't jump off the bandwagon. We don't do this through the week and then jump off on the weekend. We do not.
And
this is our life.
That's why we meet here.
But I did not eat any of the sugary things, but I did have a croissant sandwich with chicken salad, and that croissant was good. So my weakness is bread right now, but not the sugar anymore. Which is big. That's huge for me.
You'll get there. You'll get there, Virginia. You know how to do it. Again, it's going to be, you're going to get through the holidays. You're going to get through the stressors. You're going to do whatever. You're going to wake up Friday and you're going to jump right back on the bandwagon. And you're going So Wayne, I want
But
to
I
call you
love all
out.
you guys. Thank you.
We love you, Virginia. Hugs
Thank
and
you,
prayers,
Virginia.
hon.
Prayers for you, dear.
Wayne, I see you kicked out his first batch of homemade bone broth. So again, anybody that's not feeling well, or even if you are feeling well, bone broth, homemade bone broth, not the stuff you're going to go to the store and buy. Homemade bone broth is magic. It is healing from entrance to exit. It helps with a multitude of sins, and it's just good for you.
How was it, Wayne?
It's so easy.
It is. It's cheap and easy.
Well, I looked up a few different recipes, and several of the ones I saw had you blanching the bones first and then roasting them for like a half hour. So I went through that whole process. It wasn't hard. It just, was
Just know if you don't have the time to do all that, dump the bones in a pan and cover with water.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, all the ones that I saw that didn't do that required a lot longer simmering.
Yeah, it does. We throw ours on for what, 3-4 days?
5 days.
5 days sometimes.
Yeah, if I worked at home, I would do that, but I just not real comfortable leaving the stove going when no one's there.
Yeah. But good job.
Yeah, I think it came out fine. I did taste it, and it needs a little more salt, so it'll be salted when we drink it. But no, it was good, and I think as preparing for Thanksgiving, I think that's going to be in the mix.
Be good.
And Wayne, and I will say, is one of the guys that he is an awesome leader. He's a godly man that is leading his family. The women that he's working with, his wife and their best friend, they do it as a family. They're going through Thanksgiving, and then they have done the advanced class. So they're ready to advance into the fasting. They've not done 72s yet. So we've had a game plan for how many months now you've had this plan?
Couple months.
Yeah.
We've been doing the 48s consistently every week. And I even asked Vicki tonight, I'm like, well, we've been doing the 48s every week. And we usually start on Sunday night. So I'm like, well, are we doing a 48, then eating for a day or, 2 days and then going into a 72? And she said, it's going to be crazy getting ready for the holiday and weird working hours and everything. So that's where I thought the bone broth would come in and say, okay, maybe I'm not eating full meals or anything, or, fatty coffee and bone broth, that'll kick it in. So at least that's my plan for the next few days.
Good. And that is the perfect plan. It really
the 48s haven't been a big deal at all. I've felt like it got to the end of it, and it's like one more day would be no big thing. So not expecting any problems, but we'll have to see. I mean, I'm just going to roll with it.
Good deal.
And go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say he's made the perfect plan. He's going to enjoy his Thanksgiving. He's got a plan for Thanksgiving. Going to wake up Friday and start his fast, clean everything back up, because he has done the 12 steps, and he's been doing this consistently for how many weeks? He's been fasting for 48s, and he's not white knuckling it through fasting. He is literally, his chemistry is carrying him. And that's the difference of setting your chemistry up correctly and doing it step by step and having your chemistry carry you through a fast.
Absolutely.
Wayne is one of Dr. Boz's alumni also. He knows the science. He's read the books. He's taken the course. He has done all of that. But doing it with the coaching, where you're taking it one step at a time as your body is ready, just helps you get over those hurdles and all those humps in the process. And doing it as a tribe together in these little groups, it just really is a win, I think. Go ahead, Wayne. What would you guys say?
Well, first of all, just to manage people's expectations. I mean, it's not like it's nothing to fast.
Yep.
Usually when you first do it, there's some, the mental challenge to get over. For me, the biggest hurdle is, okay, if I have dinner at night and then you go to bed, that's no big deal. And skipping breakfast for me is no big deal. But like on a work day, it gets to be noon and your brain's telling you, okay, you should be eating. And so it's not necessarily something that physically you're starving. It's more, getting over the mental issue with it. I haven't had a situation where I've had this ridiculous amount of energy I haven't known what to do with and got it and all.
Just wait.
That.
Just wait. It'll happen.
I've more had a realization after the fact of, I'm getting out of bed in the morning and I'm not dead tired.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Do you notice your wake up time starts getting earlier and earlier without an alarm clock?
that happens anyway. So I don't know what to blame that on. But no, things, I mean, I went through a period, my last fast, about 3/4 of a day into it, I started getting just frozen. I was cold.
Yep.
Now I live in Western New York, so we've gotten our first snowfall. We didn't get as bad as Buffalo got it, but we have about 20 inches on the ground. I mean, which for here isn't a big deal.
Oh no!
Did you hear that, Joan?
Get that Mini Cooper up here. We could have some fun doing some golf.
You wouldn't find it.
Oh, I heard it. I'm from Chicago. That's why I'm from Chicago. I was watching the videos about Buffalo last night, and I'm thinking, oh, I love this rain today. It was gorgeous, wasn't it, Virginia? When you think about snow.
Well, my brother lives in Northport, Florida, which is on the West Coast, just south of Sarasota, and he was whining to me about the rain today.
I actually kind of enjoy cold, rainy days in Florida in the winter because I know what summer feels like.
Sure.
Does everybody understand when he was talking about the freezing for the fasting? When you hit into those long-term fasts, you will literally hit that freezing mode. Like you can't get warm. It's not about putting more clothes on. It's not about heating up. You cannot get warm. And what that is, that's the uncoupling of that mitochondria that you're trying to heal. Hi, Snook. That uncoupling of that mitochondria is what is the win in that, because you hit that in the fasting. And then that's another group of cells that you are healing. That's another group that your body is pulling out and making it, I don't know how to explain it, but it's that coldness, that chill, and you also get a runny nose. And that is literally that inflammation coming out of you. Just like you start peeing all the time, you're peeing out that inflammation, your nose will literally start running water. Like it literally pours out your nose. It's not a cold. It's not a snot thing. It is nothing like that. It is literally that cold, that inflammation coming out your nose. So fasting has so many cool things in it, literally, but there is those parts in it and those steps in it that you cannot get away from it. And it's the same thing like doing the sauna. It's another way to uncouple and stress that mitochondria. It's another way to take your body one step deeper, one step deeper, one step deeper. And that's how we get the deep healing in the liver and all through the body, is taking it one step deeper. You can't just, drop your carbs down under 20 and think you got the win. You've got to keep going. Every time your body plateaus out, you take it to the next level. And that is going to be different for each person. And that's the beauty of figuring out the 12 steps, is you learn how to read your body and know when to stress it and when to wait. And
you take it at your speed, your own body speed. Because, as most people know, she has gone really slow. I go really fast on it. So, I mean, there's two different, and everybody will be different. It doesn't matter, male, female, it doesn't matter. So
see Linda going, yeah. It is. And the men's metabolism, once their testosterone kicks in, once we get all those fat-based hormones happy and working, that's why we take so long at the beginning of the program to do that, is to establish all those fat-based hormones.
Get your steps right.
Get them in order. And the men take off when those get going, when the leptin, ghrelin, testosterone. For us, it's the estrogen, progesterones. All those hormones have to be balanced and happy before you move forward.
Full of fat.
And those are all fat-based hormones. So you've got to get those fat ratios right. You've got to get those macros right to get all of that to kick in. But just know, us girls are going to fight 10 times harder and longer to make things happen than what most of the men will do. I mean, Wayne has slowed down his process waiting for the women. He's got 2 women coming up behind him that he is leading the way for. And God love him for waiting, because his chemistry has been ready. Now he may not mentally be there, but his chemistry is ready. That's
going to be your next challenge, Wayne. When you get into those 72s, your first one may go good because if you got the mindset, I've done a 48, and you can kind of break through that barrier on that first one. That second, that third, that fourth, that fifth, it just about the fourth and the fifth. Look out. Your mental state at that point during that extended, as soon as you get past that 48, you're really going to have to concentrate on making that 72. I mean, because it really gets to a mental game, because your body starts getting used to that rhythm whenever you decide to fast. And for me, it's a big time mental game. I mean, I have to seriously prepare. I'm doing a fast this week. Tell myself that every day, you're doing 72, you're doing a 72, you're doing a 72, to get through it and to get your mindset, because you'll get to a point where it's like, man, I got to eat, but no, you don't. You can make it.
And another thing I think we're learning, we're new in our spiritual walk and everything, but it's learning the discipline in our spiritual walk that has brought us and carried us through. That same discipline is what we're learning every week. It seems like we learn something new that is being applied in our health regimen, in our health goal. It's coming together full circle of, not only do we need the discipline in our spiritual life and the whole world and dealing with life right now and everything like that, but we need that same discipline when we sit down at the table. Why would we ingest anything into our body that doesn't serve our body? It doesn't serve our body the way God made it to function. Is no different than walking outside your realm of your spiritual life. It's the same, that same structure, that same discipline, that same everything. And as we learn to apply all of that everywhere, it just lets us continue to grow physically, spiritually, emotionally, everything. And it just helps this walk become so much better, so much stronger. And we get so much more excited about it just to be able to share it, because it is connected. It is the whole theory of Wayne as being the godly man and leading these women. And he has a plan and he is walking it out. And the girls are struggling. It is not easy for us. It is hard. And he is doing everything in his power to be that leader in his family. And Wayne, I'm always so proud of you for doing that and being that, because most women, and you can't believe how many people in our groups that have spouses that sabotage them.
They don't have support.
Literally sabotage them. And that's why this group is so important. And that's why, if you don't have the support at home, we are your family, we are your support. That's what we're going to be until your family gets on. And I am blessed enough that, my daughter's on right now, and you lead by example. Are they always perfect in it? No, but now Bug is doing it. Bug has my grandkids doing it, which in turn has my son doing it. That's my Bug. Sorry, Jen. But it goes generational, because I led by example. Then Bug got started. Then Bug helps my son get going. Then they have our little ones going.
And I think you were even talking with my mom today about it.
Yeah, I was getting to talk with Lance's mom a little bit, and she doesn't do keto. She
does low carb.
Low carb.
Whatever.
But she's losing weight. She's getting healthy. She's a cancer survivor.
She's starting to get that taste.
Yeah, and it's working for her. So anything is better than the standard American diet, until you get there. And then when you get there, it's the same thing with Keto Continuum. Once you learn how to do steps 1 through 4, it just intrigues you to say, okay, I want to go 5 through 7, and I want to go 5 through 8. And you take it one more step and one more step. And again, it's learning to read your personal chemistry that is going to make the difference in it. Is you learn what, in my chemistry, Lance and I eat almost exactly the same thing every day. We eat our one meal a day. We eat the same thing. When we go to a restaurant, we order the same thing. We have the exact same, and we will have 2 total different sets of numbers every day. It's just how our bodies are. So I have to handle it a different way than he does. You might have to handle it a different way than your spouse does. And you have to learn to read your numbers. That is the beauty of this little machine right here, of keeping that. And anybody that's in my coaching people, that comes up on my screen. So when you check your blood at home, it comes up on my patient portal, so I can help you over those struggles. That's the beauty of keeping track of everything, because it's not a guess if you're healing or in, an inflammatory mode. For sure, it's not a guesswork. So that's the cool part in it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But we're all totally different.
I was going to add one more thing, Tammy, when you talk about family get-togethers, in particular Thanksgiving this week, Christmas coming up. The one thing that seems to have helped us a lot is that most of the events we have in our family right now, we're ending up hosting.
Oh, nice. Bonus.
Which the nice thing about that is mentally, what's going to be on the table. You know how to prepare for that. So it's not a surprise walking in and being tempted by something. Yep. And you can, really plan ahead what you're doing. Yep. I mean, this week I'm trying to plan, making recipes. Clearly I'm not going to eat. And I'm only making, if it's a casserole, I'm only making a half size one because I don't want a bunch of leftovers.
Yep.
And you end up,
Good thought.
you end up tossing a bunch of it anyways, it seems like half the time. So, hey, if somebody doesn't get something they wanted, I guess so be it. But
Again, don't you think it's taking the focus off that food? And it used to be so many things. It's, oh my gosh, we had to have this recipe and we had to have that recipe. Some recipes you can adjust to. Some of them you can make them decent. But again, it doesn't matter. Look up from the recipe and the stress of the food and look up across the table. And I think if we take nothing away from this week and this group of people that we've worked with this year, we've got people all over the world. Put it in perspective and don't stress about it. If you can host it, all the more power. If you're not hosting it, don't go hungry. First of all, eat a little bit before you go.
Eat a little bit of what you know works. Put that in your belly first before you go.
And I literally, when you walk into the room, look around. Look around the room at everybody that matters to you, because I could have so not been here this year. And I can't wait to sit with my kids. I can't wait to have dinner with Lance. I can't wait. And it is because a part of this journey. I had a cardiologist look at me and say, if you weren't in the chemistry that you are, I'd have never made it off that plane. So whatever purpose God has for me left here on this earth, it is going to be to help and teach and share this with people. And if nothing comes away from this, value your own health and the time you have. It is not worth the food. It is not worth, there is nothing you could put on my plate, just like the post I put today. If there's anything that matters, if you're not at Thanksgiving dinner next year at your family, if you are not at that table, do you think any of them are going to sit and say, hey, mom's not here to have mashed potatoes? No, nobody cares what was on your plate. They're going to miss you. They're going to miss family. They're going to miss the person. Virginia don't care what her husband ate yesterday or last week on the cruise. It doesn't matter. Don't make it more powerful. Don't give it the power. Take your power back. It is about the people that you know and love. And when you walk into a room, do not stress over the food. Do not think that food controls you. It does not. If you want to live, choose the right choices. Don't put it in your body. You wouldn't put alcohol. You wouldn't put drugs. You wouldn't put whatever in your body.
Don't put the sugar.
Don't put the sugar either. It's that easy. Does that pizza that I want so bad that my family was raised on that smells, it just smells like family to me. There's a pizza place in our town. It just smells like pizza. It smells like family to me. It is a warm hug. But would I have given up that pizza to have my Uncle David sitting at the table with me this year? Absolutely. Yep. I don't care about the pizza. I wish I had the people that I loved that I've lost this year at the table with me. So I guess, sorry. Sorry.
You got it.
It's just one of those years. It's going to be one of those Thanksgivings, it's just be thankful, be grateful, and don't let it control you. It's not worth it. Your health is more important. So Linda, come and check in. You and your hubby. I see you sitting there. I'm going to quit before I cry. Come and check in, guys.
Hello.
Hello. I can't remember your name though.
Rob,
that's it.
Rob and
He
Linda.
always remembers that.
Bad. Sorry, man.
That's okay.
How are you guys?
So we're being encouraged very much by this group.
Yes.
Good.
Very much so. And what you said about, it's so easy for me. Yeah, it is. It is.
All the more reason you need to support your wife, because I can guarantee it's not that easy for her.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's got some extra challenges, and listening to Dr. Boz, now she's getting more in depth on information because Linda had a gastric bypass.
Mm-hmm.
And that complicates a few things.
It does, but it's not an excuse to not be able to do it. You can do this with gastric bypass. So don't give yourself the out because you've had a gastric bypass. We have numerous people in here that have had all types. So you keep going, girl. You got this.
Just need to dig a little deeper. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need some help, you call, because that
Ask-
literally,
Ask the questions.
yes, you got to
Go find the answers.
But you can do it. So don't let yourself jump off the wagon because of that. You've got to go slower. You've got to implement some other tools. You've got to get your body more adapted. I mean, same thing with people, you know, it's like, I have no gallbladder. I can't eat high fat. Yes, you can.
She didn't have a
I have no
gallbladder.
gallbladder, you know?
I don't either.
Yeah.
I have been kind of upping my vitamins, the D3, the liver.
Yep.
Those are huge. And what the biggest thing you're going to learn to do is you're going to learn to, you want the highest density nutrition with every bite that goes in your body. I don't waste a bite on any, if it doesn't serve your body, it shouldn't be going in, because it's going to fill you up and not let you have enough room for the stuff that you need to heal. So your liver, your sardines, as much as I hate them little boogers, there is magic in those little fishies.
Say yeah, boy.
There really is. I guarantee you. And I don't like them. And I have been eating them for like a year and a half since we were down with Dr. Boz and she told me to start. I have had them every week. My palate is not developing. I still do not like them, but I love what they are doing for my body. My numbers show it every time.
Yep.
So every bite that goes in your body, you need nutrition. It has to be the sardines, the liver, any of those things that you can get to get that high nutrition in you. That's going to be the fix for getting it in you. And then it makes it easier to just come down the pike of keto continuum.
And the thing with the D3 and the liver, you're not going to notice those big, giant, huge changes right away. It's going to be consistency that you do that. Then all of a sudden, one day you're going to say, oh, wait a minute, I'm feeling a little bit better. I wonder. Or you'll get some numbers at the doctor and they'll say, wow, what have you been doing?
Yep.
That's what I've been doing. You know,
even though
you'll see it, there's small changes and small things that happen, but they build on each other.
So many of the doctors, even if you have a doctor that doesn't understand keto chemistry or anything like that, one of the big things, my doctors here local, we don't have a whole lot of help on the forefront in our little town. So just know it's an anomaly to get support for anything like that. So you kind of take your health in your own hands and kind of run with it as best you can. But what was I just going to say?
I don't know. You were going off on a tangent.
Oh, you take your that's what I was when you take your numbers to the doctor and you walk in, even if they don't understand your chemistry, they cannot argue with your labs. They can't argue with where your numbers are going. My cardiologist here in town, my Texas cardiologist is a keto cardiologist. He understands it. Thank you, Jesus, for giving me a cardiologist that understood keto chemistry when I had my heart attack.
Absolutely.
But my cardiologist here, I'm teaching him every time I go. I share Dr. Boz's information and the science with him every time I go. But he keeps saying, I don't understand it, but I can't argue with what I mean, I was in heart failure. I needed a pacemaker and a defibrillator. I was dying 5 years ago. There is no doubt about it. I was clicking out, and he keeps saying, I can't argue with your numbers. And now I don't need a pacemaker, never had my pacemaker put in. I am no longer in heart failure. The damage from my heart attack was caused from the chemo and radiation from 20 years ago. It is not from my chemistry
Lifestyle
right now.
Nope.
That is not. And I mean, I specifically asked my cardiologist to prove that to me and tell me that. And that's when he went in and checked. He said, I will go look and fix whatever needs fixed. But he said it was my scar tissue and damage from chemo and radiation. So don't always count on the doctors understanding it. But again, let that be an excuse to jump off the wagon.
Right.
You got to take control.
I just need to know how to do it differently. I know it needs to be done a bit differently. I don't know how to do it differently.
Especially when it comes to the long fasting. We're not there yet, but
You have to.
You will get there.
You have to build that. You have to. That's what we always talk about, the basics. You need to have the basics down pat. Your body will lead you to that fasting. You don't just jump into that right away. And we will tell you every day and twice on Sunday, if you're not ready, don't do it. You're not gonna gain the benefits that you will when your body is ready.
Your chemistry will carry you when you're truly ready. Linda, if you want to get in and do our New Year, New You program, we could kind of idle through the holidays and get you jump started at the first of the year. You let me know, but that is true. You just will take it slow, and you have to learn to read your numbers so you know what you're doing, and you'll get there.
I'm not sure exactly what the New Year, New You is about.
It's just going through keto continuum one step at a time. I thrive and actually love the challenge of the people that are metabolically damaged like I am. I want the people that struggle step by step by step. People like him that his chemistry will just go through. It's easier. Those of us with really big, strong, deep cellular level health issues, it's not that easy. You can read Keto Continuum. You can watch the videos. And it's one of those things, like Dr. Boz is the best teacher there is. She is the best science teacher I've ever had in all the medical classes I've taken my whole adult life. I love how she teaches, but she's never been sick either. She's not had to reverse it to the level I have. And I think that's the cool part of our stories joining is she's got the perfect science in the teaching, but I've done it all. And I can prove that her system works. I can prove to you from my labs that it doesn't matter that I had cancer. It doesn't matter that I was on narcotics for 18 years, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't matter that I had neuropathy, prediabetes, heart disease. You can fix it all if you do the steps properly, if you do them in order and let your body go. Now, do I still have weight to lose? Absolutely. Do I still have issues? Yes, but I am the best my body can be right now. It's not about the weight. Would I love to be back where I was at in high school? Absolutely. Ain't going to happen. I'm not worried. I would rather be alive at the supper table this Thursday than worrying about what size my jeans are.
Yep.
That's not my goal.
And that's another thing too, that we say the weight is a bonus.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's a happy accident.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you lose some weight, you lose some inches. That's awesome.
Yep.
But it's what you're doing inside, how you feel. You know, Tim Catlett that was usually on here, his joints were able to get better. I mean, he's dealing with some stuff now, but that's because he's more active than he's ever been in the past year, 2 years.
He started with us last October. For any of you that's seen his story, he was ready to retire to a wheelchair. And now he's like the manager.
It's a project manager
of our church build that is getting ready to open. So everybody that prayed for our church to find the sensors that they needed, they showed up. So I thank you all for all the prayers and everything, but it was just cool because now we hoping to be in our new church within the next week or two. So,
but he lost all his inflammation. He got off a ton of his medications that he had.
He's no longer diabetic. His arthritis is down.
And he followed it to a T.
And he was almost 300 pounds and he's what, 165 or 163 now. But he's back at work with his son. So
yep. Cool. And now he's dealing with some issues because he's so active. His body's not used to that. He overdoes it a little bit. And then, he walks around, he's sore. He hurt his back. He pulled this muscle, he pulled that muscle. I mean, things that, you normally do, when you overexert yourself. But it's funny to hear him now because he can do that. Before he couldn't.
Yeah. And that's just the difference of healing at the cellular level.
Yeah,
and
he's a whole lot better off inside than he ever was. So that's the part that matters.
So I think that's the win of bringing Dr. Boz's science together with those of us. I mean, how many of us on here are cancer survivors? I mean, I see Virginia, Joan, I don't know.
Who else?
We just have so many people that are cancer survivors, diabetics, major heart issues, things like that. I mean, and it's like, there is a fix for all of it. The gallbladder and the gastric bypass stuff, that is all stuff we can all work on. You may have to go a little slower. You may have to do a few extra steps, but you can do it. And that again is the beauty of Dr. Boz having a 12-step program. There is a difference. Is there 12 steps for a reason? Yeah. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Addictions in the brain for 12 steps? Yeah. That's no accident.
Exactly.
So you break the addictions, you heal the brain, you move forward through those steps, but it's also the same thing. There's other keto programs out there. You can go get all the free YouTube videos you want from some amazing doctors. There's Dr. Barry, Dr. Boz, all these amazing, Dr. Fung. There's all these amazing doctors out there. But if you don't have the brain health, which I didn't, to go gather all that information and watch all those, sift through what part applies to you, what pertains to you, what part is my body ready for, what part is it not able to, am I not ready to do yet? When you apply all that, that's a lot of work to figure out. And when your brain is messed up from medications or illness or brain fog or ADD that we deal with, whatever the issue is, who has the mentality to go do that? I didn't. That is why the 12-step program matters. That's where the coaching comes in. That is where most of the people in our coaching program have bought Dr. Boz's course. that come out still need, you don't need a doctor to do this. You need a coach. And that's where we come in. And that's what we want to share and bless everybody and help any way we can. And
All right.
that's cool.
All
Any
right.
questions? Anything I can help anybody with? Anybody else want to check in?
I was just going to say real quick one thing, Linda. The new year, new you is basically her coaching program that she does. So
Of Dr. Boz's course.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay.
So we just start little groups every 6
Call it
to 8
something new.
weeks. Yeah, we start a new little group through. We do a beginner group and an advanced group. So if you already understand and your chemistry is right and you know how to do the beginning part, then you're fine. We could just take you through the advanced part. If you don't have your chemistry correct, then we start you at the beginning and build that chemistry step by step and teach you how to know when your body is ready to move to the next step. That's the part that works out cool.
Yeah, I would need the beginning because that's what I've struggled with in the last 3 years and continuing on with the program. I get so far and then
Yeah. What do I do now?
what do I do now?
And that is, I think Wayne and Vicky, when they did it with Dr. Boz the first time through,
Yep.
that's exactly what he said too. They have the science, they have the videos, but until you learn how to apply them to you and know when to move to the next step, it's hard to figure out because you two are not going to be the same, just like me and him aren't the same, but as healthy as he's never been sick, he's never had an issue until his back surgery this last year. He's never had a surgery, never anything, but his internal numbers are no better than mine being very ill.
Yeah.
So it's still learning. Just because he looks skinny and things like that doesn't necessarily mean he's healthy.
Yeah, well, I wasn't skinny. I know that.
Well, but now the difference of once you learn how to read your numbers, he knows every day if he's in an inflammatory state or a healing state. I know every day if I'm in an inflammatory state or a healing state. I know that every morning. So that's the beauty again of knowing how to read your body. And it's not going to be the same as everybody. And anybody that has taken the course, I know Wayne and the girls will probably, Joan probably will all vouch. We can all start at the same time. We can all start
won't
week by
finish at the
week,
same time.
week by week. And by the end of so long, about the 4th, 5th week in a row, everybody's in a different place.
Not only don't you finish at the same time, but everybody has different speeds. Week 2 and 3, somebody else may be fast, and then you slow down. It's
Yep.
Oh, and
You
you'll
know?
go in a cycle too, where you'll take off and all of a sudden your body will say, whoa, time out. We're going to stop here. We're going to go for a little bit and we're going to have to stay right here.
We're going to idle right here for a few weeks because my
Not
body
going
says
anywhere.
no. Go ahead, Sharon. You got a question? Jump in, hon.
I was just going to share a little, a couple weeks ago, I was stalled. My glucose level had gone back up and you had said, take those MCT, C8, C10 like candy, and so I started with ketones again and those. And because I'm shifting to no dairy, no nuts, and a little bit more carnivore, and plus adding on a lot more exercising. So I made that decision to pause and not do any type of fasting until I kind of got back comfortable because I was just feeling really tired. So I've had several under 40 DBRs, and
Good
deal.
I'm so excited. My glucose is under 100, 90, 80s. So plus I did a sauna, plus I've done some exercising, plus so it's like that stressing. But so I think I'm ready. If I could, I will do a fast. So I've done them, so I'm comfortable with them, but I was doing so many changes. I didn't want to try to do
No, that's a great idea.
Great way that you leveled out and listened to your body. And the MCT, that is where we say build your toolbox, because when your ketones are dropping down, and that's again the beauty of it coming up on my patient portal and the Keto Mojo patient portal, you can look at those numbers as a graph. And I'll actually bring it up and show you how it comes up so you guys can see.
I know I was waiting for the lines to reverse.
To cross.
And when you see that crisscross,
and the opposite. But I just,
I will
this is
show you
done
guys
with no sardines, just FYI. And
Don't say no. Telling you, they do some
I
awesome
will never
stuff.
do sardines, but I did do tuna and got up to 3.2. So
Hey, I would take that as a win on anyway. Hang on. All right. Hey, of course, the one night I want to show you something, it's all going to come up goofy. Hang on. Hang on, guys.
There.
Bear with me. All right. I lost you guys for a second, but. Yep.
Can everybody see? Do you see your white screen?
Did we lose it?
Yes.
Okay. Can you guys can see it?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay,
it.
because I lost you guys, so I gotta stop screen share to go over here. But I want to show you guys. This is my numbers. So my glucose, I don't even know when I checked last, but see this crisscross right here? When that comes across like that, that's my glucose dropping down, my fast, and my ketones shooting up. Now look at the beauty of this. When you can see, let me go back here and change because I haven't checked the last few days since I've been taking cough drops. Yeah. You will be able to see the trends that your body is going through. And it will tell you the gradual that my glucose is up 3% just from being sick and the cough drops. My ketones are down 7%. And my drboz ratio is still down 22%. So I'm still going in the right direction, but I'm not cranking it out like I usually am. And that's because my body is fighting something. So it's just, it's those little things that you're going to learn to do. And hang on, let me get them back. How do I get back here? Hang on. There we go. But that's what you guys will see. There we go. As with the patient portal thing, that's where it's so cool because you will be able to see how much your body is changing, even when you're struggling. And then we can say the cool part of that chart, we can look at it over a long term once you've been doing it for a few weeks, and you can look at it and say, hey, what happens every Monday that your numbers tank? And we go back through. If we can't figure it out in your chronometer, you might be under 20 carbs, you're under 10 carbs, nothing has changed there. But we look at your calendar and realize you have a faculty meeting on Monday morning that stresses you out to no end or whatever. That rise in your cortisol will be enough to push your glucose up. So we will figure those patterns out, and it helps you pinpoint what is exactly struggling your body and making things hard for you. And it's not always how many carbs. It's not always what you've eaten. Maybe you don't sleep well. My dog keeps me up, poor Lance is froze out because I got the bedroom so cold. You never know what it is, but when you can see the patterns on those charts, you will know what your body is doing and how to read it. And that's the beauty of some of the tools that we say to keep in your toolbox.
I want to say one thing too to Sharon that I ran into. When you notice that you're tired and out of energy, just remember that this is a fat-based lifestyle. Make sure you check your fats and make sure you're getting enough fats to run on, especially if you're going to start exercising.
Like a crazy woman. So
you start exercising, you're burning fuel, you're running off your fat. When you get out of fat, you will lose energy.
Yeah.
And you'll be hungry and tired and you won't know why. And it's just like, what is going on? If you increase your fats, like with those MCT capsules, that'll ramp up your fats. And then your body will say, oh, okay, I'm using fats now for sure. So
I was going to say I am religiously using the chronometer and trying to hit my macros. And yeah, I was not hitting my macros. And so I'm pushing to hit those just on the protein and the fats. It's a challenge.
It is. And especially the more active that you get, as your weight comes down and you become more active, that's where we had to stop when Lance hit that wall of his energy tank. He's usually a fart in a frying pan that you cannot wear this man out.
And she kept looking at me and she says, "You're hungry? You're still hungry?" I said, "Yes,
had two sides of beef.
This isn't mental. I'm hungry."
And we started checking, and when he had changed his weight in chronometer and we checked his macros, he literally found out he needed 1.25 cups of oil,
avocado oil,
of the equivalent of a cup and a half of fat a day.
I mean, I was at a 3-to-1 ratio of protein to fat.
Yeah.
So for every bite of protein, I had to take 3 bites of fat just to get my ratio correct. I needed 270 grams of fat a day to run at the pace I was.
So just know, but he's a person also that on his watch, for his steps at work, it's nothing for him to have 20 to 22,000 steps a day. But that requires the fuel and the energy. And we want your body to be fat adapted. So fat is the fuel. If you're running low, he was all leaned out back at his surgery. He was at his junior high weight. He didn't have a whole lot of extra fat.
That's 200 pounds,
and
6'1" and 200 pounds.
And just know that most of us that have that fat in storage. The fat is locked in the cell when we first start this journey. The fat, that cell is locked down with the fat inside of it. It doesn't get released yet because your body still is saying, store it, store it, store it. You have to train your body that here's a continual fuel source. Here's your fat. Here's some more fat. So most of us that are still struggling with any type of weight loss or energy like that, we have to ingest that fat to let the cells start to learn to open up to be able to share that fat later on. Later on, I wanted to go find my butt and my gut. But right now, I want it to ingest it so that it can keep learning. It doesn't have to have glucose for fuel. You want it to keep understanding and learning how to do that. And it's retraining your body. So staying in that long term. So the more active that you come, you have to ingest that.
I was going to say, once you unlock that and those fat stores come out and you start using them, you will deplete them if you don't put them back in. And it's something that's something that you have to be mindful of, because you'll hit that wall, because all of a sudden you'll feel great because you'll unlock those fat molecules and they'll come pouring into your system and you'll have that energy. And then all of a sudden you'll just like, man, what happened? You're not putting enough fat back in to run on. I mean, you're actually running out of fuel. Your body will use it at a pace to where it'll start sucking it off you. And once you get leaned out, you got to make sure that you got to be putting that back in, and you got to find out that ratio that you need.
Another thing to remember is just because you're leaning out and you're running into that problem does not mean you're done healing on the inside. That does not mean you back off and stop. That just means you still have work to do on the inside, but we want the machine running correctly. And that's where watching your macros and everything like that comes into play. But that's where adjusting all of them, that's a personal thing. That's different for each person. Sharon's working out a lot right now, so she may need to change that. She might need to up that to keep it going. But increasing, using the tools in your toolbox, the MCT capsules, these are a lifesaver. When I'm taking cough drops, or even if I'm using the salt rocks, but I have a cold and I'm fighting something, I will still take my MCT just to help my body I don't want my body to forget, because God knows when you take a sip of NyQuil, I swear to God, it's a cup of sugar with a shot of whiskey or something in it is the only thing. It just knocks me out and I feel hungover. But I go back to the MCT is what's going to help my liver keep learning how to make ketones while I'm fighting an illness or being sick. So it's just one of those things. Poor Virginia, you need to get some rest, baby doll. Any questions we can help you with? I know, are we running over? Sorry, guys. We're running a little over tonight. Anybody have any questions I can help you with? If not, I truly, truly want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And I am begging you, please look up from the table. Take a moment when you all sit down at the table. For me, just take a minute, say your prayer, and look up across the table and be grateful and blessed for the people that are still at the table. And don't let it stress you out. Do not let it worry you. You're not worrying about counting calories. You're not worried about counting carbs. Get a plan. You know how to do this. Eat the meat, add the fat if you're trying to stay on board. If you're not staying on board and you truly are just go enjoy your day.
Go enjoy it.
You know what to do Friday morning when you wake up. You get up and go shopping, right?
You get back into basics.
You go back to the basics, get everything going, and
your
everybody
body will
be
kick
fine.
back in.
And we will see you all next Sunday.
But no stress.
Scraping up all the pieces, parts, and getting everybody back on track. It's not a jump off the wagon for the weekend. We will be starting our fasting probably on Sunday night in our normal routine. Any of my advanced people that want to join in on that, Wayne and them maybe starting Friday, I'm guessing, so you guys can be off Sunday. Whenever everybody starts.
We're starting Thursday night.
Are you? Awesome. Sweet. So finish it up, but jump in and let us know if you need help. You know where I'm at. But everybody that wants to join in with us, we will probably get into our normal routine. Our routine is we have family dinner on Sunday. Then we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We break our fast on Wednesday. That's our routine. Then we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday to do family functions and date night or whatever we choose to do. So that's our routine. And we just rinse and repeat. It comes down to 4 meals a week. We eat supper. We eat our dinner 4 times a week and fast 3 days a week. Our budget, we eat like kings when we do, because we don't have to buy fast food. We don't buy junk food. We don't buy a bunch of stuff in between. We eat good. It's enjoyable. I do not walk away from that ribeye feeling deprived any way, shape, or form. And I was vegetarian for years. So I can say that. I can say that proudly I've come a long way. Your body will change. Your body will follow and listen. But if those vegetables and fruits would have served me, I wouldn't have been in the health issues I was having. That it's a total different, it went against everything I believed in. So look up from the table, understand where you're coming from and what matters, get your priorities in order, and just know we're all in this journey together and we love y'all.
Aunt May, and Lance, I want to say thank you guys for being you guys. Actually, Tammy, it was a year ago, November 4th, when we had our day down here.
Yep.
Because pictures came on my, phone the other day.
Oh, I'll have to go check them out.
Yeah, been quite the year, and best to you too as well.
Hey.
Oh, we love you, Joan.
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
Love y'all. Have a good week.
Have
Reach
a
out
great
to you
week.
if anybody needs anything, and have a happy, blessed Thanksgiving.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
We love you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Same to you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.